This is a top sniper. He only carries 1 bullet per mission. Every shot was perfection. He loaded the bullets and opened the 8x scope. He lays on the hillside, aiming at the target. The target was more than 2,000 meters away. On a high-speed train, he took a small windmill to measure the wind speed. He quickly calculated the ballistic incidence deviation angle in his notebook, then adjusted the 8x scope, vertical to 12.3, horizontal to 25.6. He started to aim. His eyes weren't ordinary. They call it clairvoyance, the reflected light of the satellite in the sky. He could see it all, normally. Flies and bees fly super slowly to his eyes. He can kill them all with 1 shot. At this moment, the high-speed train arrived. The target was looking at his computer by the window. He licked his fingers to prevent them from slipping. He locked onto the target and was ready to shoot. The little girl next to the target suddenly stood up. In order not to accidentally hurt the little girl, he immediately adjusted the angle. Luckily, the girl was taken away by her mother. At the last second when the train was pulling into the tunnel, he pulled the trigger and let the bullet fly. 1 second later, the target was hit and killed instantly. The killer's name was Henry. He was an American CIA agent. He had a record of 72 perfect assassinations. His mission was accomplished. His partner praised Henry's shooting skills and showed him the secretly recorded video. Henry wasn't satisfied with the assassination. He was aiming for the head, but he hit the neck. He had never made such a big mistake before. If he had missed by just a little, he would have killed the little girl next to the target by mistake. He seemed to have lost his skills. The director of the CIA tried to keep Henry, but Henry decided to retire with a clean slate. Henry went out fishing. He arrives at the pier to refuel his speedboat. At the checkout, he noticed that the marina manager had changed. He was immediately alerted. He started questioning her. The woman's name was Danny, a graduate student in marine science. Henry didn't think much of it. He drove his speedboat to meet his old friend. His friend reminded Henry to be safe. The man he killed on the train was not a terrorist. It was a biologist. He refused to cooperate with the CIA. The CIA had altered his identity. There must have been an ulterior motive. Then a friend gave Henry a name and an address. He told him to find someone on the inside. Henry wrote down the information silently. When Henry looked up, he saw the reflected light of the satellite. Was he being watched? Kay has to say, his eyesight was very impressive. Sure enough, the CIA was watching every move they made. When Henry sailed back, he found a bug on the boat. He realized that the CIA had started to spy on him. He confronted Danny with the bug. Did the CIA send you to spy on me? Listen, you've blown it. Danny refused to admit it. Henry didn't keep pestering her. Instead, he invited Danny to have dinner with him after work. A relieved Danny gladly accepted. At the restaurant, Henry took a bouquet of flowers to Danny. Just after sitting down, he took out a piece of paper and spread it out for Danny to see. It was a copy of Danny's CIA work permit. Danny's identity was exposed. She was a little embarrassed. Danny admitted. She was also an agent. They had a nice conversation. Henry even escorted Danny home. When he got home, Henry was just about to fall asleep. Then the intrusion alarm went off. He got up and looked. A few figures flashed in the darkness. Henry lifted the floor, entered the basement, and nimbly got the weapons. The killers were about to break down the door. Henry shot straight and got the first kill. Then with another shot, he got a double kill. In the distance, the sniper was bewildered. He didn't even see him. The sniper was killed by Henry. 3 kills in a row. The man behind the tree dared to peek and got taken out. That made 4 straight kills. The entire team was easily eliminated in less than 10 seconds. Henry broke into Danny's house. Danny was so scared that she raised her gun at Henry. It seems that Danny had no idea about the assassination attempt. Henry told Danny to leave quickly, because Danny had revealed her identity. The CIA will also kill her to silence her. The two of them prepared to escape by boat. Sure enough, Danny was ambushed. After a struggle, Danny overpowered the killer. She knocked the killer's teeth out one by one. Then the killer revealed that the boss behind the scenes was the director of the CIA. The two of them took the boat and hid. Their friend Baron arranged a place for them to stay. But something incredible happened. Henry was resting, and suddenly became aware of the killer's arrival. The man was being hunted. He used the reflection in the water as a mirror. He saw his pursuer. He shot decisively through the clothes, and took the opportunity to quickly hide behind the pillar. Here is a test for all gun masters. What kind of gun is this? If you know, post in the comments section. Henry, using a side mirror to aim, saw no one, and changed the scope to 4x. The killer suddenly appeared, but Henry was shocked. His opponent looked exactly like him, just a lot younger. Henry could have shot him in the head, but didn't. In order to distinguish, we call the killer Will, but Will shot him instead. Henry hid in a house. A fierce gun battle broke out. Henry was on the second floor. Will threw a grenade straight at him. Henry reacted quickly and threw it away from him and nearly blew up Will. At the corner of a staircase, Henry hid behind a pillar. Using the mirror, he saw the approaching Will. It turns out that Will knew that Henry and he looked exactly alike. Henry threw a grenade, but Will used the same trick as Henry. He hit the grenade back again. The grenade exploded instantly. Henry fled the scene. He grabbed a motorcycle and ran away. Will also grabbed one. The two of them chased each other in the street and showed off their riding skills. They did not only look alike, even their abilities were surprisingly the same. Will finally caught up with Henry. Using the back wheel of the motorcycle, he knocked Henry down. Henry fell off the motorcycle, rolled on the ground several times, and was almost hit by the car behind him. Will turned around again and hit Henry with his back wheel. Then, while doing donuts, gave Henry a sweeping kick. Henry was directly swept down. Will retreated more than 10 meters and accelerated towards Henry and tried to hit him with a slide. Willie saw that he missed and became angry. He accelerated again and used the motorcycle as a dart. Henry was knocked out by the motorcycle. Will didn't stop there. He took out a dagger and walked towards Henry step by step. Fortunately, the police arrived in time. Henry escaped from him, and Will ran away. Danny picked up the hat that Will left behind. Henry didn't have a child. Then who is he? Danny took Will's hat and the gauze with Henry's blood for DNA test. The identification results show that the two's DNA is identical. Henry and Will are the same person. It seems that Will is a clone. The biologist who was killed was also involved in the research. Just when he didn't want to continue the cloning project, he was killed by the CIA. The assassination was not successful. Will ambushed Danny at her place, and while threatening Danny with a gun, successfully captured her. The man asked Danny to undress. Danny was confused. Did he want to rape her? It turns out that the man wanted to check whether she had a wire on her body. Danny stripped naked for him to see. Then Will called Henry, telling Henry to come to the church basement to rescue Danny. In the basement, he planted a rope mine and took out all the electricity. Will sat back and waited. He heard a bang outside. The mine exploded. Will went to see excitedly, but he was ambushed by Henry. Henry still had some tricks up his sleeve. It turns out that Danny had installed a bug in her teeth. Henry told Will that he was a clone. The CIA cloned him to train him to be a killer. Apparently, he didn't believe it at all. The two of them fought again. Danny raised her gun and pointed it at Will, but Henry didn't want to hurt him. Both fell into the water at the same time. Fear of water almost made Henry drown. Danny shot Will to save Henry. Will escaped again. It turns out that Will was raised by the director of the CIA. For over 20 years, he had doubts about his identity. The director brainwashed Will. He said he raised Will, and that he was Will's father. He hoped he would continue his mission. However, at this time, Will no longer trusted him. Henry wanted to settle the score with the director, but was shot in the neck by Will, who was hiding in the dark. Henry suddenly felt breathless. It turns out that Will shot him with bee poison, which Henry was allergic to. Will, who had the same genes as Henry, was also allergic. Looking at Henry struggle to breathe, Will confirmed the fact that he was a clone, and immediately took out the antidote. He took out a knife and put it on Henry's arm. To take out a tracking device, the CIA relied on this to keep track of their movements. Then they went to the director's lair together. Just as they were about to arrive, the director made a phone call to Will. He told him to jump out of the car. There was an armored car parked in front of them that shot an artillery shell. They jumped out of the car quickly, but Baron was too slow to jump and didn't make it out alive. Henry and Danny hid in the adjacent store. Will found the director. The director still wanted to brainwash Will. Will no longer believed him. The two fought. The director's kung fu was good, but not a match for Will. Will pointed a gun at the director. In the end, he couldn't do it. He knocked him out. A group of heavily armed men appeared. They wore alloy bulletproof vests. The men in the armored car used a Gatling and fired a barrage of bullets. It shot over 2,000 rounds. They both got down quickly. Luckily, they were still alive. Henry saw the weakness of the vest, hit the neck and eyes, and you're done. They went straight out and took out several of them. They continued to break through. Danny was unfortunately shot in the thigh and had to hide back inside the store again. The two of them only had their final bullets left. Fortunately, Will arrived in time. The rest of the killers were taken care of. They were just about to catch their breath when a helmeted man broke through the window. This armor is even stronger. Almost no weak points. Bullets couldn't even hurt him. He was well trained and was very good at kung fu. Henry and Will were beaten to the ground by him. Henry saw the right moment to kick him into the grocery pile. Danny threw out a bottle of gas. He shot it and blew it up. The fire instantly started. In the midst of the fire, the helmeted man was still on his feet. Will used a shotgun and shot him. He was too hard to beat. It took 3 shots to bring him down. Danny wondered if the killer did not seem to feel pain. Henry went up and took off his helmet and was confused. Oh, man. another guy who looked exactly like him, and he was even younger, 17 or maybe 18 years old. The second clone was also surprised, but he instantly understood what was going on. But he was too badly injured. The second clone died. That's when the director came over and tried to persuade Henry and Will to continue to work for him, and told him that the new technology had made the clones immune to pain. However, Will was no longer brainwashed by him. He was about to kill him with one shot, but Henry stopped him. He did not want Will to have a psychological shadow for the rest of his life. After all, the director had raised Will for so long. Henry took the gun, and in one shot killed the director. Henry retired for good. Danny resumed her job. Will also became a college student, and as a family, began a normal life. This is the end of the film. This film is called Gemini Man. This issue's question: do you think humans can be cloned? For those who think so, comment 111, and 222 for those who don't. K think Will Smith's film is pretty cool, especially the sniper rifle scenes, which are extremely cool. In the future we will break down more of his films. Well, that's all for this issue. Please like and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye.